If you're the police, where are your badges?
Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Welcome to the BJ Show. Let's rock and roll. Rock and roll. Come on, everybody. Let's lose control. Brad and John, they're the ones to follow. Yeah, ready for the ride. It's the BJ Show. BJ Show.
It is the BJ Show. Today's date is October 2nd. It is a Thursday, John. Is that right?
It's almost Friday, Brad.
That is John Combest, C-O-M-B-E-S-T. I spell that because you'll have to know in a minute. My name is Brad Hildebrand. John Combest is a conservative Republican. Would that be safe to say, John?
No, Brad. I'm an American. I wrap myself in the flag because I'm better than people who are partisan.
I am an American. John's making fun of me.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, John, I have a moment that I need to take for a moment. Normally we go
please do.
directly into John's top three. John and I, there is an elephant in the room, and I want to get this out right here, right now.
Ooh, let's do it, Brad. Does it involve AI?
No, it does not. It involves a schism between myself and John Combest.
Ooh, what should we talk about it, Brad?
The schism is that I have always tried to be very open and forthcoming to all sorts of different ideas. In fact, I put my phone number out on the air, 314-280-8880. John, if I gave you $100,000, would you give me your cell phone number on the air right now?
If you gave me $110,000, yes.
$110,000. Okay, he would, but that's what it would take. Okay, the reason I bring this up, John has put me in a very unenviable position because I get the calls from the interesting folks. Last week, matter of fact, a week ago Tuesday, it was a text from John Bosch. Right, John?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And what prompted him to text you?
Because of the fact that we talked about him on the air, he was one of in John's top three. The goofy story is there was a confrontation between two Dems in October of 2024, so it's coming up on a year anniversary of that thing. And the reason that became a hot button story recently is because one of the intrepid reporters, and there still are good reporters around that did a sunshine law request because he heard there was a video of this.
Yeah, so you get a text from John Bosch, and what does John say in that text message?
Well, I'm going to leave that because when I give you what happened to me yesterday, this is the reason I'm talking about this now.
Ooh, okay.
What happened to me yesterday is we can carry this over into B block or C block if you want, but I will just tell you that yesterday afternoon, about 4:30, a phone number came up on my phone I did not recognize. I answered the phone. I said, "Hi, this is Brad Hildebrand." And there's a pause, and a person on the other end of the line said, "Is this the guy from the Brad and John show?" I go, "This is Brad Hildebrand. I'm not John." And he goes, "You don't know who I am, but I'm Michael Burton."
Oh, wow. Fantastic, Brad. Did he want to share his side of the story?
John, it's an interesting conversation. And if you wanted to go delve in this, we talked for probably 35, 40 minutes. Now, what's really strange and bizarre about this is, don't ask me how we got talking about this. His mom and dad are North County boys and girls.
No way. Like what part of North County, Brad?
His dad went to McClure, and wait for this, John.
Okay.
I went to school with his mother at Hazelwood.
No way. Really?
That's really bizarre. Okay, so the conversation was very interesting, and there's some things in there that you are not going to like. But if you want to schedule this you want me to make this number one in the B block, or you want to do it in the C block?
Yeah, well, why wouldn't I like the conversation?
Let me just put it this way. You're not going to be happy with some of the things that were said.
Okay.
Not that what I was said, but some of the things that were said. I mean, I kid right off the beginning of the show, okay? And I've told the story recently that the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, it hit me that I'm tired of all this political finger pointing. You're a liberal Democrat. No, I'm a conservative Republican. I'm going like, okay, I'm above that because I've said for years I'm a libertarian. People go, oh, you're an anarchist. You want no laws. No.
Yeah, that's not what you mean. Okay, so can we get back to, but what would Burton have said about politics that anybody would find offensive?
No, quite honestly, what I found offensive, to be honest with you. And I think a couple things I said to him, he found offensive. He came right out and told me that was offensive what I said to him. So if you want to follow, you want to do this in B block or C block?
Let's go through your top 3 in B block, and then we'll talk about Michael Burton. And by the way, isn't it? I don't sight unseen or unheard. I think it's great that Burton has the courage not only to reach out to you, so that put him on the same level as a John Bosch, but then to actually have a conversation with you, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, see, I think, to be honest with you, John, he reinforced in me the belief that politics is kabuki. It's just effing kabuki. That's all it is. It's kabuki.
Let's talk about it in C block, Brad. That sounds like a great topic for C block, because I know that when you get started on that, we need to take some time and dedicate some time to it, because I think folks deserve to hear your theory on that.
Okay, that's John Combest, Combest. He's the guy that puts together this incredible website, which, if I had to tell you what Michael Burton said about you, you wouldn't believe it. But anyway, every single day he puts together this important website, which has all the interesting information, dozens of links on there, nothing fancy. You go to johncombest.com, you'll see a bunch of links. You click on it, it takes you to the source. Could be a video, could be a newspaper report, could be something from a blogger or something like that John would think would find interesting and informative for citizens of Missouri. What we do is every morning we start this show off with this guy. We dig him out of his grave in Norway, which his wife dug him there, and we don't know why. And we say, morning, sir, what's your name?
I'm Casey Kasem.
And he says,
in third place.
And John takes off.
As a follow-up to a story we discussed last week, and I teased it last week by saying, I can't wait to see the resolution of this. We have the resolution, and we're not the type to tease people and then not follow through. A headline from Mark Schlinkman of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Who wrote the racist graffiti at Francis Howell? School custodian, charges say. Last week, we heard a story that originated from a Facebook post from a social justice warrior in St. Charles County who reported that her son saw racist graffiti written on bathroom stalls in the Francis Howell School District, and specifically at Francis Howell High School. Well, now we have charges coming from St. Charles County. And the man who admitted to posting the graffiti, writing the graffiti, was a white man named Tyler Allen Carter. He's 25 years old, and he lives in St. Charles. And authorities charged him this week with the graffiti and also other charges, Brad. Now, I hesitated for a second there because I was bringing up the probable cause statement, which I got from the Missouri court system, and I have it in front of me. I went digging for this yesterday afternoon and found it. I don't think Schlinkman links to it in his piece. So this gentleman named Tyler Carter, he was very angry one day, and he went into a custodial closet, plural closets, and he poured chemicals on those items. Now, we don't know why he was so angry this day or what he had against the items that were stored in custodial closets, but he poured chemicals all over them to destroy them. He also entered classrooms and wrote sexually explicit words. Now, that graffiti didn't have anything to do with race or one ethnic group. He just wrote some naughty words all over the classrooms. And then he went into bathrooms and wrote racially derogatory statements. So Mr. Carter really covered his bases here. He destroyed property that belonged to the school district, and then he wrote some naughty, inappropriate words in some classrooms, and then he went into a bathroom, and he wrote some racial statements in a bathroom. So this gentleman ended up admitting that he did this and was busted for it. Now, what's curious to me, Brad, In looking for the name of this gentleman before it was reported in these news outlets, I went to the Francis Howell website to look up the names of custodians. And I was going to cross-check that with CaseNet, which I eventually did, which is how I found this probable cause statement. But I also went to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch database. They do a database every year of public employees so that you can snoop on their salaries. And when I went to the 2024 salary page that showed everybody that worked in Francis Howell, I looked up every custodian, Brad, and I didn't see anybody in Howell with the name of Tyler Carter. Mark Schlinkman's piece doesn't tell us how long Mr. Carter was employed by Francis Howell, which tells me, unless I read the database incorrectly, that Mr. Carter is a new hire, at least a relatively new hire at Francis Howell. He's 25 years old. And so this new hire is apparently mad about something, wants to destroy property, wrote naughty words, and then went to a bathroom and also wrote some words in dry erase marker. Now, as the great Chris Ferguson posted on X, it's pretty great that a custodian used dry erase marker, knowing that eventually he might have to clean it up. You know what I'm saying? So we did get some resolution here. And Brad, it was a white man that posted this derogatory language.
I've turned my microphone back on here. John, hold on a minute. I'm hearing these weird sounds. It sounds like angels. Oh, yes, Dr. Winter. Yes, Dr. Winter. Yes, I do remember you were my journalism teacher at SIU.
Yeah, what would he say about that digging?
No, he's talking to me now, John. Don't interrupt me. Yes, Dr. Winter. Oh, my God. I have to do that? Oh, okay, Dr. Winter, I'll do it.
Compliment me, Brad.
Dr. Winter just wanted me to compliment you on doing excellent journalism, John.
Thank you. And I am not a journalist, but at least I know how to use a public database, right?
Right. You're
so
kicking.
I guess if you're in a hard spot, first of all, thank you for the compliment from the grave, Brad. And I don't just mean because you have one foot in the grave. I mean from Dr. Winter's grave. And also, if you're the NAACP, I think this makes your case a little bit harder because, yeah, it was a white guy, but he hasn't been around the district. He's not an administrator. He's not a student. He's a janitor. And not only did he write some derogatory phrases in the bathroom, but he clearly was setting out to the real action he took was destroying district property by pouring chemicals all over district property. And then he wrote some naughty words in another classroom too. So it's kind of hard to say, ooh, this is a pattern of discrimination, systemic racism, let my people go. Maybe we could all just sing Wade in the Water and get over it, you know?
Was this all in one sitting? I mean, he did this in one night. He poured the chemicals and
Yeah, in one tantrum. According to the charging documents, they viewed, you've talked about this many times on the show, cameras are everywhere.
Right,
so
exactly.
Based on surveillance evidence, it was determined that Tyler Carter was the only individual who had entered all the classrooms and restrooms during the time frame in which the graffiti was created.
Man.
Now, what I think is terrible about this is, why you got to go pour chemicals on district property? Like, you can erase dry erase marker, but it's going to be hard to get bleach and cleaning solution off of some sort of soft item.
I see. I don't understand. But the interesting part of this to me is that the only thing that came out from this was the fact that he put racially denigrating statements on the bathroom wall. Not the fact that he put sexually explicit words in a classroom and destroyed...
We can't have that, Brad, or else it would be like Drag Queen Story Hour.
Yeah, no,
Brad, with 5 minutes left, can we get to story number 2?
John, what I'm going to say is if he would have gone to the library and put sexually explicit terms on the wall, nobody would have said anything.
He would have gotten congratulated.
Right. Yeah, okay, number 2.
Up a notch to number 2.
Last June, you smartened me up to the name of a person I had never heard before. I should say I heard this gentleman's name, but I had no idea who he was until you smartened me up. That gentleman's name is Fred Wellman. Do you recognize that name, Brad?
I do.
And last June, you smartened me up because, unlike most functional people, you listen to NPR.
I do.
And you do it voluntarily. You're not just waiting in an old folks' home to die and it happens to be on in the lunchroom. You choose to listen to NPR. And you heard Mr. Wellman on a feature, it may have been with Ira Glass. And Mr. Wellman was detailing, because he was affiliated with the Lincoln Project, an anti-Trump group, Mr. Wellman was detailing what you called out as Wellman sleeps at night with a gun at his bedside because he thinks that Donald Trump has sent people to drive by his house.
It's bizarre.
So you mentioned this on a June episode of our show in 2024.
Yes.
So, I mean, that would suggest a little bit of paranoia probably. Maybe it's justified. Maybe Donald Trump is so scared of a podcast host that he sends his goons to drive outside Mr. Wellman's house. Mr. Wellman was in the news yesterday, particularly in St. Louis Public Radio. It's the only news piece I saw, but it was covered by Jason Rosenbaum. The headline, podcast host and Democrat Fred Wellman runs for Ann Wagner's congressional seat. You'll recall, since the early days of the show, we've talked about Ann Wagner's district. We talked about the fact that Ray Hartman, founder and editor, longtime publisher of the Riverfront Times, ran against Ann Wagner last year. And you and I argued it. We beat that horse to death, Brad. And Ann Wagner ended up, of course, winning by a wide margin. There were probably some patsies that said, but Ray was on Riverfront Times in Donnybrook. Yeah, and those voters have been long dead.
And Ray
Ann won by 12 points last year, Brad. And I would expect that Mr. Wellman, I know we're short on time here, I would expect that Mr. Wellman, he's already facing opposition in the Democratic primary. And to be clear, other Republicans will file as also rans against Ann Wagner. But Mr. Wellman tweeted yesterday that in his first day, he got over 1,000 contributions. He has 353,000 followers on X. And he said in the first however many hours that was, that 1,000 people had cut a check to him, Brad. So expect Democrats to make a big deal of this race.
Well, what I was going to say was Ray Hartman also got a paycheck out of that, but that's a whole nother story.
He did.
Right.
He ended up paying himself some money. And I would imagine that Mr. Wellman will end up, raising a little bit of cash here. And I imagine, I don't know if Wellman's going to pay himself. I don't know if he's in the same personal financial predicament that Ray Hartman was. It wouldn't be fair to say that Wellman is there because I don't know if he is. But I would presume, Brad, too, that Wellman might not have been the Democratic Party's choice. Like if it were up to Democrats, I think they'd probably still be sitting in a room trying to figure out if Wellman checks all the right boxes. He's a white man, so he's kind of at a disadvantage there. But in the interim, I don't think Wellman is waiting for the Democratic Party stamp of approval. I think he's just going to go out there and do his thing.
You mean he's not going to get vetted by the Franklin County Democrats? Oh, no, that's the Franklin County Republicans. I'm sorry.
You know what, Brad? Maybe Michael Burton would sit on a panel and vet Fred Wellman, even though he's not in his district. Let's get to story number one real quick, Brad.
The number one.
There you go.
A headline from Newsmax, the right-wing outlet. Some would say mainstream conservative, I guess you would say. But I digress. Eric Schmitt told Newsmax on Wednesday that he, quote, can't actually believe that the government has been shut down because Chuck Schumer is, quote, afraid of AOC. And here's what Schmitt says. It's pretty simple choice that the Democrats had and still have. We'll vote again later today, that was tomorrow, which is to have this clean funding bill without any partisan writers a part of it, or to shut the government down. And they've chosen the latter. And here's the money line. I think the real story here is why. The reason why is that Chuck Schumer is afraid of AOC in a primary in a couple years, and the Democrats don't have a leader, they don't have a message, and the left is gaining more and more control of that party apparatus, and they're afraid of their own shadow. So Schmitt goes on to say the fact that he uses the word stupid to describe the fact that we do this sort of brinksmanship. That's my word, not his. But we have this brinkmanship every year where we get to the end and it's the drama of, will there be a shutdown? Will there not be a shutdown? Are we going to have to furlough federal workers? And Schmitt says it's just stupid. And we should have a Eliminate Shutdowns Act, which he describes as the responsible kind of reform we need. He says we need to have an automatic continuing resolution as opposed to these kind of show votes and grandstanding. And you can also find other stories about the shutdown on my website today, Brad.
I turned my microphone off again. I'm sorry. John, let me real quick on this comment. I have a friend of mine that works for the federal government, and he's worked for the federal government for a long time. And he brags about the fact that 7 years ago, I believe it was 2018 or something like that, when we had the last government shutdown, he bragged about the fact that he had 34 days of paid vacation. He didn't work for 34 days.
Yeah, very nice, right?
So if I were Trump, and he's already started to foreshadow this, if I were Trump, instead of furloughing the government employees, and quite a few of them, especially in D.C., are Democrats. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of them are unionized government employees. He would just say, okay, no furloughs. You're laid off without pay until we get this thing taken care of. And then the Democratic workers would be calling on the Chuck Schumers and the Hakeem Jeffries of the world going, hey, get in there and negotiate. We need to get our paychecks back because we're not going to get paid because you guys have shut down the government. That's all it would take. No furlough.
I think so, Brad.
Just
and I
layoffs.
love the fact, I know we're over time here. I went to the USDA website because I was looking up some data yesterday. And the USDA website has a message at the top that says, the Democrats have shut down the government. You might not be able to get all the data you're used to getting here. And I was like, wow, what a hilarious partisan message on a government website.
Right. But okay, we got a lot to talk about this morning. I will give you a hint. If you haven't looked at your phone,
I did. I saw the picture you did, the screenshot you just sent.
That is Brad's number 3. So I
love it. Let's talk about it.
I want you to be able to respond to what I sent you. Okay. People out there going, what's he talking about? What's he talking about? And Michael Burton's going like, boy, this show is boring.